Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're exploring a fascinating question. Has the Queen ever been at war with herself? It may sound like an odd concept, but history has seen moments where different parts of the British Empire and Commonwealth have come into conflict, and because of a unique political arrangement called a personal union, there have been situations where Queen Elizabeth II or her predecessors were technically on both sides of a dispute. Let's dive into what a personal union is, how it applies to the Commonwealth realms, and some notable historical events that brought different territories into conflict. A personal union is when a single monarch rules over multiple independent states. These states share a head of state but have separate governments, laws, and sometimes even conflicting interests. This was common in European history. Think of Austria-Hungary or the Union of England and Scotland before they formally merged into the United Kingdom. In the modern era, this concept applies to the Commonwealth realms. These are independent countries that recognize the British monarch as their head of state. This includes nations like Canada, Australia, and Jamaica, all of which have their own governments but share the same sovereign. This arrangement has led to situations where Commonwealth realms have found themselves at odds with each other, or with Britain itself, and that's where things get interesting. Let's look at three historical incidents where this played out. First, Rhodesia's Unilateral Declaration of Independence, UDI, in 1965. Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, was a self-governing British colony in Africa. In 1965, the white minority government, led by Prime Minister Ian Smith, unilaterally declared independence from Britain. The problem? They wanted to keep power in the hands of the white minority, while Britain insisted on majority rule, meaning independence could only happen under a government elected by the black majority. This led to an awkward situation where Queen Elizabeth II was technically still the head of state, even though the British government refused to recognise the new regime. Rhodesia continued to claim loyalty to the Queen, but Britain saw them as rebels. Eventually, Britain imposed economic sanctions, and the situation escalated into the Rhodesian Bush War. This was a rare moment where a government claimed to be a Commonwealth realm under the Queen, while another part of her empire, Britain, considered them illegitimate. The Bay of Piglets, the Anguilla Rebellion, 1967 to 1969. Anguilla, a small Caribbean island, was originally part of the British territory of St. Kitts and Nevis and Anguilla. However, Anguillans were unhappy being ruled by St. Kitts, and in 1967 they seceded and declared themselves an independent republic. The British government tried to resolve the situation diplomatically, but in 1969 they sent paratroopers and Royal Marines to restore order. The operation was sometimes mockingly called the Bay of Piglets, a reference to the failed Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba, because it was a military intervention against a tiny, lightly defended island. The irony? The Queen was, technically, the head of state of both St. Kitts and Anguilla. So, in a way, this was a case of Britain and, by extension, the Queen acting against one of her own territories that still considered itself under her rule. The Bougainville conflict, Papua New Guinea versus Solomon Islands, 1988 to 1998. The Bougainville conflict was a brutal civil war in Papua New Guinea, PNG, but it also had a Commonwealth twist. Bougainville, an island that geographically and culturally aligns more with the Solomon Islands, was part of Papua New Guinea, another Commonwealth realm under Queen Elizabeth II. In 1988, a separatist movement, the Bougainville Revolutionary Army, BRA, demanded independence, leading to a violent conflict with the PNG government. As the war dragged on, many Bougainvillian rebels sought refuge in the nearby Solomon Islands, another Commonwealth realm. Some reports even suggest that elements within the Solomon Islands provided support to the rebels, creating tension between the two countries. So, here we had a situation where two Commonwealth nations, both recognizing the same monarch, were indirectly involved in a conflict against each other. So has the Queen ever been at war with herself? While there's no case where she directly fought against herself, there have been moments when different parts of her realms were in conflict, either with Britain or each other. The Commonwealth's unique structure means that at times different governments under the same monarch have pursued opposing policies, even to the point of military action. It's a fascinating example of how political arrangements can create strange historical dilemmas. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into history. Thanks for watching and see you next time.